In the summer of 2025, I got an app idea that I thought was actually pretty cool and original. I've never seen that concept done before, so I decided that for the next year I would try to build and launch it. Fast forward 1 year later and we're here. PeerPause has been up on the App Store for about 2 weeks now, and so far we have 0 users. This series will follow the real journey of me trying to market my app. My initial goal is 100 users. I have no idea if this is even achievable, if it's too ambitious, or how long it would even take. But yeah, you're coming along and we'll see. I'll try different marketing strategies, see what sticks, and show you the real results as we go. This was actually my first time building a mobile app. In fact, before this project, I had never even touched mobile development at all. I'm a software engineer, but my background is mostly in web development. Fortunately, the transition was much easier than I expected. From zero to release, the entire process took me about 8 months. I started actually working on the app on the 4th of October and finally released it on the App Store on the 19th of May this year. During this time, I tried to work on it as much as I could without going insane, mainly in the evenings and weekends because I also have a full-time job. And not gonna lie, for the most part, progress was pretty slow. I wasn't really too focused on finishing it, especially around and after the winter holidays. My original plan was to release PeerPause sometime in the early spring of 2026. However, in February, the app was looking very rough and unfinished, and I knew that if I wanted to release this app before summer, I had to lock in. So I took out my credit card, got a Claude and Cursor subscription and got to work. March and April were pretty much job, work on PeerPause, go to the gym in order not to go insane, sleep and repeat. And after all this grinding, I finally released it on the App Store. In the first few days after release, I got some decent initial traction as Apple tried to push my app to as many people as possible. However, about a week in, things started to die down a bit. I was getting less and less impressions, my conversion rate started to drop, and the only people that were actually using my app were me and my sister. This was exactly what I expected though, because building the app was never the hard part. The hard part is getting people to actually use it. The truth is, marketing and distribution is everything. It doesn't matter how good your app is or how many features it has, if no one even knows it exists, then it's useless. Okay, so what actually is PeerPause? PeerPause is a screen time app. You set app limits for the apps that make you doom scroll way too much, and when you reach those limits, those apps get blocked.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
I know, but just hear me out. The difference between PeerPause and traditional screen time apps, or maybe even the native iOS feature, is that when you reach a time limit, you can't ignore it. If you want to bypass a limit and keep on doom scrolling, you have to request a friend for extra time. He can then approve or deny your extra time request. So instead of relying on pure willpower alone, PeerPause relies on your friend keeping you accountable. And not gonna lie, it's also pretty fun to block your friend out of TikTok. Here's what we have so far. The day that I'm filming this take is the 10th of June. Right now, we're at a grand total of 36 downloads, 2k impressions and 300 page views. That works out to a conversion rate of 3.66%. That's honestly pretty low. I don't even care that much about the low impressions right now. However, the conversion rate is bothering me a lot more. So these stats tell me at least two things. First, out of those 2,000 people that saw the app in the App Store, only about 15% of them opened the app page. As far as I can tell from other apps, this is not terrible, but it also could be improved. Secondly, out of those 300 that actually opened the page, only 12% of them downloaded the app. This is alright, I'd say. Yo chat, I've got 300 page views and 36 downloads on my iOS app. Is this any good?
This is shit. Based on the available data, you should just fucking quit right now.
As you can see, the biggest problem right now is our marketing funnel. The purpose of the marketing funnel is to turn strangers into users. So if we want to get more users, we have to fix it first. Here's what we're doing. From the analytics that we already have, we clearly have to improve the App Store listing. We will redesign the screenshots and try to make them a bit more catchier to grab the attention of the people that are scrolling. Also, I'll try to go for another angle. Right now, we're listing a lot of the features that the app already has, but we're not telling a story. We're not showing the user a real transformation or an outcome. Usually, when users search for a specific app, they are searching for a specific solution to their problem. So we have to somehow convey to the user the advantage of using our app. Also, before we go harder on marketing, I also want to add analytics to the app. More specifically on the onboarding side, because when someone first opens the app, that's what actually converts them to a real user. So we have to see where users drop off, where they continue, and what goes well there. Because once we start getting more downloads, we'll also have to focus on our conversion rate from download to a subscription.
Let's get to work.
Hi, it's been about a week since the last take because, well, I've been pretty busy.
No problem. No food. No problem. No you. Big problem. Big problem.
But I just finished implementing the onboarding analytics using PostHog. It went very smooth. I basically one-shotted it in one evening using Codex. I've also done some changes to the paywall. I kept the yearly plan like it was, but I switched the monthly plan to a weekly one because according to Sensor Tower, the weekly plan in 2026 is the highest converting one. Next up, the screenshots. I've stared at these screenshots so much that I don't even know anymore if I even like them or not. So I'm not even sure in what direction to go in with the new ones, but first we'll take some inspiration from our competitors and maybe we'll get some ideas from there. And I think I'll use some AI to generate some initial drafts for inspiration and then I'll recreate them into Photoshop. I haven't mentioned this yet, but yeah, I've used Photoshop to design the App Store screenshots, but use whatever you're familiar with. Alright, the redesigns are done and I think we've actually made some improvements from the previous versions. They're a lot more simpler, the headlines are bigger and the contrast is a little bit better. Hopefully this will make them pop more and grab the attention of the viewer. But like I said, I don't even know anymore, so if you have any impressions or thoughts, leave them in the comment section below. Next up, we'll create a new release and send it to Apple to review it. This process takes usually about 2 or 3 days depending on the reviewers, and if everything's alright, we should be good to go. I think we already have all the necessary app information set up in the App Store page for tracking, but I'm not 100% sure, so we'll see in the review. In the meantime, here's what I'll be doing next. First, create social media accounts for the app. I already have an Instagram account for the app, so in this step I'll just create a new TikTok one. We won't start posting on them right away though, because first we'll have to warm up the accounts for 2 or maybe 3 days. Warming up basically means viewing TikToks, liking them, watching stuff, following some creators in the niche that we're targeting. This basically signals to TikTok that we're a real account. And when it's time to post our first piece of content, it's easier for the platform to show it to a relevant audience because it already knows what we're interested in. I'll be using a second device to do all this posting because I have an old iPhone 12 mini that's lying around and doing nothing, and this way it's easier because I don't mix up my real social media accounts on my personal phone with the app. This is just personal preference though. If you want to try something like this, I don't think it's even necessary unless you're trying to use a VPN to target a different country. country. And speaking of VPNs, I already experimented a bit with this method and tried to get an account on the US TikTok, but I basically failed and managed to get 2 accounts shadow banned. But that's a story for another video because this one's getting a little bit too long. So this time I don't think I'll even bother with this method and just post normally and pray that the algorithm actually will push our content outside my home country. In the meantime, I'll also start creating some new content to post. I already have a video from the last failed attempts that I'll try to reuse, but I'll also create some new ones. I'll try to do some kind of reaction UGC videos with the app. I found this platform called Fastlane that has some pre-made UGC content from real creators, and I'll try to use them in our videos. And I'll also try some in-app recording type videos that I saw worked well for another app in another niche. Alright, that was it. Thank you so much for reaching the end, and see you hopefully in like less than a month.